Chapter 6: The Power of Tomb Robbers, the Rise of the Underground Economy. When one economy collapses, another rises from the ashes. In ancient Egypt, that wasn't a new industry or an agricultural revolution. It was the underworld of tomb robbers, excavating both wealth and sacredness of the dead. As food became as rare as gold, Egyptians turned to the one place where wealth still slept, the tombs of their ancestors. Imagine gangs of robbers operating in the dead of night, breaking into heavily guarded tombs. They were after anything exchangeable, from intricate jewelry to ritualistic items. An illicit trading network formed, stretching from the necropolises to hidden black markets, where opportunists traded anything to survive or accumulate assets. Sadly, records show even local officials and temple guards sometimes joined this corrupt network. The boom in tomb robbing in Egypt wasn't just economic, it had terrible social and spiritual ramifications. For Egyptians, disturbing tombs wasn't just theft. It was the most severe destruction of belief in the afterlife, threatening the eternity of the soul. Each shattered tomb wasn't just a theft. It was an act of sacrilege that severed a soul's journey to eternity. It undermined core values, causing deep insecurity. This dissipated any remaining faith in the state's ability to protect both the living and the dead. We see similarities in modern crises. When a formal economy falters, underground economies and black markets boom. Smuggling and illicit activities increase as law and order weaken. When the state can't provide necessities, people seek other means of survival, regardless of legality or ethics. The explosion of tomb raiding showed a profound shift in values. From communal stability and religious devotion to a desperate hunt for personal gain. It was a testament to the breakdown of a system, where gold in a tomb became more valuable than the peaceful rest of a soul. But what happens when another scarce resource, the bedrock of the empire's military and industrial prosperity, also begins to dwindle? Could Egypt survive when everything was working against them? Chapter 7: The Thirst for Copper and Metals, the Resource Crisis. Egypt wasn't just running out of bread. Another resource crisis was quietly escalating, directly threatening the mighty military and the industry forming the empire's backbone. This crisis wasn't playing out in the fields, but hidden within quarries and trade routes. For a civilization that built monumental structures and conquered lands, copper and other metals were indispensable. They weren't just for jewelry or ceremonial items. Copper was primary for forging weapons, arrowheads, swords, battle axes for soldiers. It was also essential for tools, chisels, saws, and construction implements. Furthermore, gold and silver, beyond their burgeoning role in the underground economy, were symbols of royal power and adorned great constructions. As famine gripped the land due to erratic Nile floods, metal supplies also faced severe problems. Copper and gold mines were depleted, requiring greater effort for lower yields. Instability along trade routes, lifeblood for rare metals like tin, significantly increased. Bandit gangs roamed, and nomadic tribes grew more aggressive as they faced hardship. The consequences for the military and industrial supply chain were a huge shock. The army lacked copper for weapons, diminishing their defensive strength. The construction industry ground to a halt due to lack of tools. Artisan crafts were also heavily affected. We hear of smiths bartering desperately for scraps of old tools, melting down broken plows to forge makeshift blades. Imagine the desperation of a blacksmith with no copper, or a general facing enemies with blunt weapons. This dealt a severe blow to the people's faith in the Pharaoh's protection. We see echoes of this vulnerability today. Modern global economies rely heavily on rare earth metals for technology, oil for energy, or semiconductor chips. Think about microchip shortages during the pandemic, or concerns about rare earth mineral dependence. When supply chains are disrupted, the whole world feels it. The issue of resource wars and securing global supply chains are lessons ancient Egypt learned painfully. With food threatened, trust eroded, and precious metal supplies dwindling, Egypt stood at a fateful crossroads. Could they find a new currency, a new economic foundation to revive the empire, or sink into oblivion? Chapter 8: The Hunt for New Currency, From Grains to Precious Metals. From the ashes of a thriving bread-based economy, a question emerged. What is currency truly, and where does it come from? Bread could no longer feed the empire or its economy. The system was rotting from within. The crisis forced Egypt to confront a brutal truth. A currency entirely dependent on agriculture was too fragile. The need for a more stable, easily transportable form of wealth became urgent. This was not just a crisis, but a historical moment to redefine value. Egyptian leaders gradually recognized food wages limitations. Bread was perishable, costly to transport, and its value fluctuated with harvests. This opened the door for other, more durable and widely recognized means of exchange. This gradual shift wasn't overnight, it was experimentation. Archaeological evidence indicates a transition from a food-based barter to a more flexible system. Instead of bread, items with higher intrinsic value and greater durability gained use. Most notably, precious metals, especially gold and silver. While modern coinage hadn't emerged, pieces of gold or silver, cut to standardized weights, served as payment for larger transactions. A gold ring might pay for textiles, or silver acquire cattle. This shift wasn't perfect. Other experiments included copper rings, beads, or certain stones. However, gold and silver stood out. Rare, durable, divisible, uniform, and inherently beautiful, making them widely accepted. They were financial languages everyone understood and trusted, transcending regional and professional barriers. The lessons from ancient Egypt became foundational for currency throughout history. Abandoning bread for metal led to a more resilient economy. From Lydia's first coins, to China's paper money, to today's digital currencies like Bitcoin. Durability, portability, divisibility, uniformity, scarcity, and acceptability remain decisive. The Egyptians, by navigating their crisis, inadvertently laid the first bricks for a more flexible and sustainable currency. Today, we still witness currency's continuous evolution. The debate over the future of money, are cryptocurrencies humanity's next step? Nations explore central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, as new state-controlled money. These discussions continue ancient Egypt's search. The quest for a perfect currency continues. But what truly helped Egypt escape collapse, and how was trust learned to restore an empire? That is the story of the next chapter. Chapter 9: Resurrection and Hard-Learned Lessons, The Rise from Crisis. Egypt did not completely collapse. Like a phoenix, they found a path to recovery, but with deep scars and hard-learned lessons about currency and power. Their story of recovery is a testament to human resilience and ancient civilization's adaptability. Restoring the economy and social order was monumental. Pharaohs implemented policies to address root causes of the crisis. Firstly, water management became top priority. They invested in canals, dams, and reservoirs to maximize Nile floodwaters, even in low flood years. The goal was to utilize every drop to sustain harvests, minimizing dependence on the river's whims. Concurrently, the fight against corruption intensified. Hoarders, fraudulent officials, and tomb robbers were severely punished. This wasn't just about recovering assets, but restoring trust in administration and government justice. When people saw those who profited while they starved were punished, faith in fairness was rebuilt. This wasn't just statecraft. It was a moral reckoning, an empire choosing ma'at over greed. The army was reorganized and strengthened. Metal supply for weapons and tools became a priority, and trade routes were secured. A strong, well-compensated army was crucial for internal order and protecting borders from raiders. Most importantly, it was the restoration of trust. Faith in the Pharaoh as Ma'at's guardian was reinforced through transparent actions. By progressively delivering on promises of food and security, the government slowly regained public confidence. This process was slow, requiring patience and consistency, but fundamental to rebuilding stable society. Imagine Amenhotep, the scribe, meticulously recording supplies, his face showing relief that his ledgers reflected full granaries, knowing his work contributed to stability. These changes led to social structure adjustments. Scribes, though still important, may have been more closely supervised. Relationships between social strata were reshaped by shared hardship and solidarity in crisis. Similar lessons come from modern recessions. After financial crises, governments take drastic measures to stabilize the economy, restore faith in banks, and restructure regulations. Political stability and public trust are paramount in any recovery effort. Egypt pulled through, but scars from the bread crisis remained. They learned an empire could fall not by swords, but by lack of basic necessities. The lesson of fragile dependency, trust's importance, and humankind's adaptability was etched deeply into their memory. So, as Egypt learned these painful lessons and evolved how they defined currency, what legacy did it leave? And what timeless lessons still resonate about money today? That is the story we will explore in the final chapter. Chapter 10. Timeless Lessons: What Ancient Egypt Teaches Us About Money Today. From food to gold, from revolt to reform, Egypt's journey wasn't just about surviving collapse. It was about reinventing value itself. Forget the sky-piercing pyramids and enigmatic mummies. The greatest lessons from ancient Egypt lie not in stone, but in simple loaves of bread, gleaming gold, and the fragile nature of trust in any economic system. The story of the Egyptian bread economy isn't just a distant footnote. It's a sharp mirror reflecting our complex financial world today. We've journeyed through an empire built on a simple idea: food as currency. We witnessed scribes' ingenuity managing a vast financial system without modern tech. And we saw how the Nile's betrayal pushed a civilization to the brink, triggering the first labor strike and igniting a dark underground economy. So what timeless lessons from the ancient Egyptian story still resonate powerfully today? First, it's the fragility of reliance on a single resource, for Egypt, the Nile. For modern economies, it could be oil, rare metals, or global supply chains. A small disruption in one link can trigger catastrophic domino effects. Second, and most crucially, is the paramount importance of trust in any financial system. Currency, whether bread or cryptocurrency, holds value only when people believe in it and the state institution guaranteeing it. When trust collapses, like when hungry Egyptians lost faith, the economy unravels, leading to chaos. This holds true for a failing bank today as much as an empty granary in antiquity. The third lesson is the indispensable role of data and accurate accounting. Scribes kept Egypt's economy running for centuries through meticulous record-keeping. When accuracy was doubted or numbers didn't reflect reality, the system faltered. In the digital age, where data is gold, transparent, accurate financial data management is clearer than ever. The fourth lesson is the power of the people in the face of injustice. The Deir el-Medina strike reminds us even the weakest have a voice and power to change when pushed to limits. And finally, this story shows the continuous evolution of currency. From necessities like bread to metals, then coins, paper money, and now digital currencies. Humanity constantly seeks more efficient, reliable means of exchange to reflect and store value. Every crisis is a catalyst for innovation. So next time you check your bank balance, hear of inflation, economic recession, or market instability, remember this: behind those digital numbers lie thousands of years of invaluable lessons. It's a story of trust, scarcity, and lessons from ancient loaves that once built and nearly broke one of the world's greatest empires. Will our own digital currencies, global trade networks, and institutional trust hold firm in the storms ahead, or collapse like a pyramid built on sand? The answer lies in how well we understand and apply these timeless lessons.